Welcome back to Desert Smoke Reviews. I'm Wyatt.
Justin.
And Monty.
Today we're smoking the Flor Dominicana 1994 in Churchill. And they have some name for the size of this cigar. It's a Churchill, but they also call it something else. I can't remember what it is. But I'm a big fan of this cigar. It's their 20th anniversary cigar. Even though I've also read that they were founded in '96, so who really knows? But anyway, it's a good cigar. That's what matters. This is a beautiful looking stick, and you know, La Flor Dominicana, each one of their cigars has a very different band to me. They don't have a lot of consistency in their presentation. You know, even their boxes are kind of bland, and then some of them are really out there and decorative and stuff. But this band is cool. It's got a tobacco leaf on it, and it's kind of elegant, classy, understated. You know, it's not real in-your-face type of deal. But the cigar itself, really firm pack the whole way through. Really firm. No squishy spots at all. Not oily either. Definitely kind of a fine sandpaper feel to it. Seams are just about invisible. Well, you can see them in some places, but for the most part, they're just not even there. So really impressive construction on this cigar. Let's see, on the aromas, I get a lot of cedar and just some general kind of spicy tobacco on the wrapper, and then on the foot, I almost get like an almond. Like almond and a little bit of powdered chocolate. It's really kind of unique. Justin?
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking cigar. Mine actually has one major stretch mark, and the seams are visible, but I don't think there'll be a problem. Also a very firm pack, but I've cut it. It's not that bad of a draw. I think it'll be just fine. The aroma for me off the wrapper, yeah, it's just kind of general tobacco. I don't get a lot off the wrapper. The foot, I see what it's coming with. A little bit of like an almond or a nuttiness, but for the most part, I get a kind of just almost a little bit of a floral note, but nothing really potent, nothing really in your face. But that doesn't always mean anything.
Yeah, it's a really pretty cigar. It's a really nice cigar too. I think mine is a great example of the brand and of this particular cigar, if you will. I can't find a seam on here, and I've been staring at it for 3 minutes, and I can't find a seam on here. It's very firm but not hard, and there's no soft spots, just like the other two guys were saying. To me, it looks like a damn fine rolled cigar. You know, it does have that little bit of sandpaper toothiness, which I think it doesn't matter, but it just feels really cool when you hold that cigar in your hand when you're about to light it, when you're cutting it. You know, it's really nice. So off the wrapper, not a whole lot. I get a little bit of, and I hesitate to use this word because it has a negative connotation, but a little bit of tiny muskiness. So, but not in a bad, offensive way, but just a little bit of musk on the wrapper. And then, well, some people equate musk with like muskrats and stink and
Kind of
moldy.
Show.
Yeah. You know, and then off the foot, to me, I get tons of earth and hay, just lots of it. I mean, to me, this smells like a horse barn almost, you know, without the negative connotation. But I'm definitely looking forward to this. This looks like a damn fine cigar.
It's a musky horse barn cigar.
Well, let's get cut up and lit up.
Well, they'll love it in Kentucky.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird story because I did some research on this cigar, and it's supposed to be their 20th anniversary, but technically it was founded in 1996. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that or if I misunderstood something. But it's a good cigar, that's what matters.
So you've had it before?
I have, so this is going to be a biased review.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Have you?
No, I don't think I've ever even heard of it until you brought it over.
The LFD is real hit or miss with me.
Yeah, agreed. That we love the chisels. The what was it?
The Cameroon.
Cameroon chisel. The first box or two, and then the next 3 or 4 boxes weren't worth lighting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we loved it till we reviewed it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it just wasn't worth a dang.
And they make that chapter 1. And the first chapter 1 I ever had, I thought was amazing. And every
And then-
successive one, yeah.
Same with that. What was the one? The pressed one.
Well, the factory press.
Factory
Yeah.
press.
The factory press, the first one, I thought that was the best cigar I'd had in all year, and then the next one, I thought was about a $2.50 cigar. Well, there's just loads of almost like nuttiness to me.
Yeah, definitely pick up a lot of that nutty, like almond type flavor. A little bit of spice. It's kind of a bit of a tight draw. It's kind of sealed up on me as soon as I got it lit, but it'll open up.
I'm definitely getting a lot of dry cocoa too, like a baker's cocoa powder or something.
Well, that baker spice on the back of my tongue is just like crazy.
It's not just pepper. It's just very much a lot of different spices. Baker spice is a good term.
A little bit of
And
cinnamon,
nutty.
pepper almost,
Yeah.
spicy.
I mean, that's just kind of overwhelming. It's not that it's bad, but just kind of like an overall nuttiness and baker spice. Relatively long finish. I can still kind of feel the tingle.
Yeah, it is for me.
Well, good start.
Yeah, let's get in the
Good
first
start.
third. Approach the 10-minute mark and see the changes.
We're about 10 minutes into this LFD 1994. It's, the draw hasn't opened up for me, and that's kind of disappointing. But other than that, pretty much a razor sharp burn. Made one little touch up, but I probably didn't need to. Ash is holding on extremely well. It's not flaking off and flying all over the place, and so that's always a plus. But the draw just hasn't opened up enough for me to really analyze the flavors. And I remember this being a problem. Like maybe the first third of the cigar, the draw is really tough, and then after that it opens up. So hopefully that holds true. But still a good cigar. I mean, hasn't changed much in terms of taste. Just a lot of baker's spices and some cocoa powder, and it's still real good.
Yeah, very, very nice. Kind of like a little heavier than medium, but I don't want to call it medium to full or full, but just a little bit heavy on the medium. The spice for me has actually died down. It's still there, but it's not playing the major role like it was before. I still do get a lot of nuttiness, and I kind of, Monty mentioned it in the smell, I think, but the taste, I kind of pick up like more of that earthy muskiness now. Maybe it's a power of suggestion, but it's definitely playing a much bigger role. Flavors are good. They're not a whole lot of them, not super complex, but very, very nice.
Yeah, I don't think it's a power suggestion. I'm definitely getting that muskiness, that baker spice, that whatever has gone away a little bit. But man, I hope this thing gets better quick, because I am fighting it like a son of a gun on the draw. The burn is really nice, but I am fighting it and fighting it. So we'll just see. We'll keep on.
Well, let's get into the second third. Approach the midpoint. See how
Well,
it
we're
goes.
about halfway through this 1994. It really hasn't changed for me. You know, I hate to say it, but it's one of those cigars that I go to the shop, light it up, absolutely love it, and now when I sit down and actually analyze it, I don't like it quite as much. It's still a really good cigar, but it's not really complex. And the draw finally opened up for me. It's still firmer than your average cigar, but it did open up for me, and I'm still getting. You know, I know Monty and Justin said they don't get the baker spice as much anymore, but I still get a lot of that, especially like at the back of my tongue. But definitely still that cocoa powder, and I still get a little bit of like an almond. So it's good, but it's just one of those cigars that, you know, like I said, now to actually sit down and analyze it, it's not quite as good as I remember.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good cigar. Again, my draw is also opened up, but it's still a little bit on the firmer side. The baker spice is almost completely gone for me. I'm simply getting a nice almondy. I agree with Wyatt on that, or some sort of nuttiness, and more of a musky earth into that finish. And it's not that it's bad flavors. They're not really potent. There's a little more strength than body, or more strength than flavor for me, but it's still kind of a medium, maybe a little bit of heavy medium in body, but a good cigar. And I agree. I tried this before and I really liked it. I thought this was my favorite LFD cigar. But now that I sit down and analyze it, it does go a little flat for me. It doesn't mean it's not a bad cigar. I still say recommend trying it. I'll still smoke it again. It just doesn't have the flair it once had for me. But it's still a very good smoke.
Yeah, a full third of the way into the cigar, I noticed the burn was starting to get off. And then just a second or two later, I noticed that, well, the draw is a lot better. I don't know if it, I mean, there's no such thing as a coincidence. And so the burn is okay. I've had to touch it up once. But man, is the draw a lot better. It makes the cigar overall a lot more enjoyable. As far as what I'm getting off it, it's still that muskiness. You know, there's a little bit of nuttiness there, and that spice is still a little bit there. But I almost got ruined by the fact that the first 1/3 of the cigar, I had to fight it. I had to fight it to keep it going and get any good draw off of it. So I think that may have left a bad taste in my mouth, no pun intended. So, but we'll see. We'll finish it and see where it goes.
Well, let's get into the final third. Approach the midpoint. See how the cigar finishes.
Well, we're at the nub point of this 94. Pretty consistent cigar for me. Wasn't all that complex. Especially, you know, being the 20th anniversary LFD cigars. I reiterate what I said earlier. LFD is pretty hit or miss. And this one's not quite a hit, not quite a miss, but it's one of those cigars that's worth trying. You know, I would say if you see it at your local shop, pick one up. You're probably going to like it. But there's all sorts of things that I think this cigar could improve on. Definitely that first third was really constricted, hard to smoke because it was packed so tight. And then after that, it just didn't grab my attention the way it should have. Still good cigar all the way through. I think these go for like $9.50 in our local shop, and that's a pretty reasonable price to me because it's a really well constructed cigar. Never ashed on me. The ash holds on for a while. I mean, it's about an inch. It's not flaking all over you, and the smoke is good. So I'm going to give it a solid 8. I think it warrants that. Definitely one I'll try again, but I would be very interested if LFD came out with a new size or something new with this cigar.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good cigar. The first half and the second half, for me, the only difference was the fact that the second half had a much easier draw, a lot more open. That's horrible grammar. I apologize. But the flavor profile, the dimensions, almost identical. There's a little bit of that spice in the first third, but it never, except for the first few puffs, it never played a major role for me. I think that $9.50 at our local shop, yeah, it's an okay price. But I think for 50 cents more, there's some $10 cigars. Excuse me. There's some $10 cigars out there that in our shop, I can some of the Camachos and stuff that are leaps and bounds better. But I think it is worth trying. Like I said, the first time I had it, I really enjoyed the cigar, and just when I sat down and analyzed it more, really looked at it, it just didn't quite deliver. I would go a little bit lower. I'm going to say a 7.5. I think that the draw really killed it for me. I remember the first one was just as bad, very tightly packed. I think that could be the major improvement on it. But again, we're smoking at the end of the day. I think it's a good suited time for this cigar, but you know, afternoon or whenever. But overall, 7.5. It's a good cigar. I recommend trying it, but just don't expect a lot of very complex cigar out of it.
Yeah, I agree, and I had really, really high hopes for this. I thought it was a damn good-looking cigar and well-rolled, but it's frustrating to me that all of them have such tight draws for that first third to maybe even halfway. It's just kind of disappointing. It's definitely a very interesting cigar from a flavor standpoint once you get past that halfway point. It's not harsh, it's not bitter at all. It really opened up. The burn really, when it first opened up, the burn got a little crazy, and I touched it up, and it stayed really, really good, really straight ever since. I don't know what it is. It's just kind of disappointing for me. Looking at the cigar, I think somewhere between $8 and $10 is a perfect price for this. I wouldn't mind it if it was just a little bit better, but again, it concerns me that they're all have a really tight draw for that first half of it. So to me, that's really frustrating. I definitely think it's worth trying once or twice, but I just don't think it's worth keeping around and really getting into. As far as a rating, gosh, I'm gonna be honest and say 6.5 for me. It was just really frustrating to me, and so yeah, 6.5.
Well, in conclusion, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. But until next time, smoke them if you got them.